Hello everybody and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Last video we opened up the seal on this door and we are about to enter our next temple. So where could this door lead? To some place far away, I'm imagining. Seeing as how it's kind of like a portal. Huh. This is a pretty grand looking place. So, does this look a little familiar to anybody? Does this place look, very, very, very similar? I don't know, maybe that's just me. Anywho, we're actually going to be able to grab our second golden bug as soon as we get in here. This is the counterpart to the male snail. This is the female snail. So we have those bugs to return to Agatha when we get the chance to do so. Alright, so I'm pretty eager to find out what this place is because it looks pretty darn cool. Although I think it's pretty insanely obvious what it is. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out, especially with the whole Master Sword thing going on and the awesome music and all that stuff. So strike our almighty sword into the pedestal, which would create this awesome magical staircase of sorts. Very, very strange concept, but wickedly cool. And for some reason Uku comes floating by. I don't know why she's in such a hurry, but I guess we better catch up to her. Alright, let's go everybody. Forth to the temple. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, as if it is not already painfully obvious enough with all of the Triforce symbols and decadent design and stuff, this is the Temple of Time of this game. It's actually a temple in this game, which I think is really cool. I'm really glad that they made something that is such a big deal in a lot of Zelda games into a temple. And this place really reminds me of Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time. I guess I'll spend a bit of time explaining why I think that, but to get started, Link, don't you think that there's something odd about that statue? In the grove and in the temple entry, there were always matching ones on each side, but there's only one here. Why don't you use your senses to take a look around? Alright, so, yeah, obviously this guy is alone and his friend isn't here. So, if we turn on our senses, you'll be able to see that there was indeed a statue here once, but not anymore. I knew it. There was one more here originally. We need to find the other statue in this temple that matches that one. Alright, Minna, well, let's get started. This temple is insanely easy. I would say it's probably the easiest temple in the entire game, but I actually really like it. It is very, very interesting. I like the color scheme and the design, and it's very suiting to like a Temple of Time-ish area. And it has a really cool like boss and stuff and dungeon items. So this temple has a lot to do with statues and puzzles and weights and stuff. So keep mindful of your surroundings and what you can use to your advantage if you're stuck, if there's like a gate or something that you need to use, or you need to get past rather. So I'm gonna completely ignore Uku. You'll also notice my rupee count went down from the last video. I actually went and I spent a bunch of rupees because there are a lot of rupees in this dungeon, and I want to try and pick up all the chests before I leave. This temple, more than anything else, and you guys will notice this, so I guess I'll kind of spoil it now. This temple is extremely linear compared to all the other temples. There is virtually no place to go except for straight, so just beware of that when going through here. Not so fast. At last, this is it. This is where I've been trying to get to. The ancient technology of our people sleeps in this place. We've searched all over, and now we're so close I can smell it. Once we find that thing, we can go home at last. Oh, gracious, yes. Young man, we're so close, so please help us find what we're looking for. That weird, creepy floating head, by the way, is her son, who she hasn't explained because I haven't used her yet, but just thought I'd let you guys know. She is so weird. But either way, she's looking for something. I guess we gotta take her with us, because we would find her in the temple eventually, so... This dungeon also a little shorter, just because it is so linear, but, the reason this place reminds me of Wind Waker, it actually reminds me a lot about, Wind Waker's Tower of the Gods, is really what this temple, pretty much, like, exactly resembles in my mind, at least in my opinion. Because the layout of it is very, very similar. This place, as you will see, is kind of like a tower. We're going to be making our way up this temple. We're gonna have to climb very, very high, and then climb all the way back down. So here we don't have a statue, we actually need to use this pot, and then you need to destroy it with your claw shot or an arrow or whatever to get this second door to open up. So, you know, puzzle, sneaky, sneaky, and of course that was the only way I could have gone, so that's what I mean by linear. Now, there was only one door to go, only one puzzle, very, very self-explanatory, and again, in this area too, there's only going to be one door to go through, so yeah, it's kind of refreshing though to see a temple that's a little more simple, because a lot of the temples, especially later on when you're looking for the mirror of Twilight, a lot of the temples are really quite complicated and long and stuff, but this one is kind of a nice, like, in between kind of break, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so this place definitely isn't as boring as Tower of the Gods though, which I really like, because Tower of the Gods was one of my least favorite temples in Wind Waker. Actually, I really did not like that place. But this place is super similar in design, super similar in like dungeon kind of, I guess, mechanisms. I don't want to spoil too much, I'll get into that later. But they even have the same enemies. These are like the Armos, I think is what their official name is. So Tower of the Gods had Armos. And lots of statues and, you know, all that good stuff, so... And it also reminds me of the Temple of Time from Ocarina of Time because of the whole, like, music and, like, cathedral music sort of thing. And if you destroy that Armos, you can pick up the dungeon map if you want to. I will, of course, pick it up because I'm looking for all the chests. I kind of get a little off topic when I'm trying to talk about something that's not gameplay, so I'm sure I just repeated myself about 1,000 times about the similarities, but for those of you who have played Wind Waker or Ocarina of Time, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about, and some of you will agree and some of you will disagree, but that's just kind of my, I guess, my 2 cents on that. There's a lot of temples in this game that I find were really reminiscent of older 3D Zelda games. So I kind of just like to make the comparison. Sometimes I think it's kind of interesting, especially if you're like a Zelda fan, you can kind of talk to your friends about it and see what they think. The other really cool thing about this place is that there are so many different enemies. Like, it's actually really ridiculous. I think so far we've seen the Armos, which are new. There's Beamos, there's all these different types of lizards. In that fenced off area you can see spiders. I don't think we've seen spiders, we saw like ants in the Arbiter's grounds. That's new. So for such a short and very, very simple temple, there's a lot of enemies in here, and you also use a lot of your items. You use your spinner, as we'll see in just a minute. There's a few spinner tracks in this dungeon, which is kind of nice. It gives the spinner a little bit of recognition. You use your claw shot and your arrows quite a bit, and yeah, it's just a really cool way to get a lot of your items involved, and I think it looks pretty darn cool, except for the fact these stupid saw blades are spinning around, and for some reason I never have any luck over here. I always just get constantly owned. It's actually ridiculous. What I'm going to try to do, though, is... Oh! Ooh! Haha! Tricked you. Come over this way, because that door is open, and the one across the way isn't. I do believe there's a lock on that door, so we're going to have to get into there in just a second. I need to get that... another statue on that switch. So I went ahead and I grabbed that one, but the one I need is actually on the lower floor with all those spiders. So if you grab this I guess it's like a pulley or like a lever, and you pull it backwards, you will actually go down. And if you, oh no, excuse me, if you pull it, you will go upwards. So I'll just show you, there's 3 areas. There's one area up at the top with like a bell. It kind of looks like a bell, which we can't do anything with yet, although we've been seeing them all over the temple. If you push forward, you go to the middle, which is where the majority of the doors are in this area, in order to advance. And then if you push forward once more, you'll get to the bottom part of this room, which serves as a shortcut back to the room we were previously in, and also as an area to get this statue that we need. So you don't have to destroy all these spiders, but I'll just show you what happens when you do. And just for fun, let's see if I can use my spinner. Because a few people had asked me if I had ever tried using my spinner for like attacking, and I generally don't, but you know what, the spinner does not get enough use. The spinner is such a cool and just unique and fun item, so what the hell, let's kill a few spiders with the spinner for some good measure. I prefer to get rid of these guys with my claw shot, because I don't want to waste my arrows. And the thing with these spiders that I find is the closer you get to them, the farther away they go, which is kind of weird because most Zelda enemies, when they see you, they attack you. But these guys will kind of try to get away from you, so they're a little hard to reach sometimes. So I prefer to use my claw shot to take care of them. And if you destroy them, you will get rid of that electrical fence area, and then you can go back to the room you were just in. So I'm not really worried about that right now. I just wanted to show that off for later, because you need to actually get rid of those spiders for each time you come into this room. I do believe they respawn, and that electrical gate also respawns. So I really only in essence had to come down here, or go down there for the statue, and I guess I don't really know the shortest way around. I guess I'll just go around this way, and hopefully I don't get hit with these things. I really hate these things. I don't know why. They really leave you a lot of space to walk around, but I'm just silly, I suppose. Place that there and quickly move up. There we go. Luckily they give you plenty of time to move up, so you're not left completely stranded. Alright, so in this area you have 2 Armos statues. I forgot to mention when I fought the first Armos, but the backslash is pretty much, from what I've seen, one of the most fail-proof ways to get rid of the Armos, because their backside is completely unprotected, and you cannot hit them from the front. You can only hit their jewel in the back, and because they're so slow, it's really, really easy to get behind them, and it's really not an issue to hit them if you can successfully do a good backslice. So yeah, they're really easy to take care of. And if you defeat the Armos, you will get a much needed chest in this room. We do actually need to come back here. This is a room we have to backtrack to, but we don't have the means to do that yet necessarily. So for now we're just going to get the small key, which is going to allow us to go into the second door on this floor that we're not able to get into obviously until we had the key. So gonna come up here and grab this chest quickly before I leave. I could get it when I come back, but what the hey, I'll just get it now. Most of the chests in here are rupees, like the majority of them are rupees, which is why I tried to empty out my wallet. Hopefully I didn't miscalculate and I will be able to fit them all in my wallet. Because the thing about this temple is that you are able to get all of the chests. They are all very, very plainly laid out for you. They are not hard to find at all. So I would kind of like to try and get all of them while I'm here, because it would seem kind of silly to miss them when they're so obvious. Alright, so I'm actually going to leave off in this room, because now we're going to see more kind of puzzle mechanisms of the temple as we start to get a little more complicated and we climb a little further up. If I look at our map, this place has 8 floors, so it is actually huge, but considering that we made it up 5 floors in the first video, gives me hope that hopefully we won't be here for 5 or 6 videos like we have been for other temples. So anyways, that's it guys. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you next time.